Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously.
Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe. It's time to put away your toys.
3DO from Panasonic, Gold Star, and Creative Labs. A new low price and free games.
Mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO. 3DO.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO retrospective podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the 3DO company, console, and everything in between. I am Bill, and this is Threk. How you doing, Threk?
Well, Bill, I don't feel like allergy shit, so I'm doing okay. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. I look like Christian Slater. How are you?
I have the allergy shit this week, so that's fun.
I passed it on, so, even though I've never seen you in person.
Yeah, it went from Ohio to New England somehow. It's just
it's in the air.
It got caught in the jet stream and just
the chemtrails.
Sure. Oh,
People still believe that shit, and that's so funny to me.
People believe a lot of things.
Bad education. So,
yeah, it's been a 2 days of a week.
2 days have been okay. I've been decently busy, so
yeah, I've been all right. I've had work, so that's good.
Yeah, I bought a racing wheel.
Yeah, I saw you were chatting about that.
It's under my desk. Like I had to, like we have these like spare little TV tray kind of tables or whatever. They're decently sturdy. And I somehow jerry rigged the wheel onto it so I could mess around with it. And yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's I think brand new. It's like 120. I bought it used for like 85, but it's in very good shape. I've had no issues with it. And I mean, it's cool. It's funny when you try to play driving games with a racing wheel, especially when you know how to drive and you're like, this doesn't feel the same. This feels weird. But I think it's mainly just because the wheel, like when you turn it, it like just jolts back into like its center. It's not like a normal steering wheel where it kind of like maybe will glide a little bit there or whatever. So that's a little weird. And the pedals feel really sensitive. Like I'm just used to like normal accelerator or brake pedals needing a little bit more to get out of them. So, but it's different, and that's probably a good thing. So I don't try driving around like this.
Yeah,
but it's neat
to get like a true like racing experience with like a wheel setup. You have to pay like thousands of dollars for like a proper rig.
Yeah, I mean there's I think like Logitech or whatever that make like $200-$300 racing wheels that are like closer to that, but on a budget. And who knows, maybe, but for this, it's fine. I just turned on Horizon 5 and was just kind of dicking around driving, and I did it for like maybe like an hour and a half. And I definitely felt I was getting better at it for sure. But if I'm gonna like 3-star races and do really good, I'll stick with the controller. This is just more of a for fun thing, not for like a competitive thing.
I love watching like the videos of like the sim race like streamers who like do like the legit sim racing.
Yeah, I've seen those.
They have the rigs with like the fucking force feedback and like shit, and like
the three screens and like a really high end PC and like this chair that like they kind of sit back in like it's a race car. They'll have the clutch and everything, and it's like that stuff is neat, but like I feel like that kind of takes away the fun of it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know.
I just remember this one video of like this one guy, he gets into a crash and then the wheel just goes like, whoa. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, holy
that's
shit.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, this one doesn't have force feedback. I know some of the more low end ones have force feedback. This one doesn't at all, which is honestly fine. It's not really that big of a deal. Like a lot of people are like, it's a deal breaker. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I just want to just try it out. And this feels like a good racing wheel to try it out to see if you vibe with it or not. So it is the Hori Racing Wheel Overdrive.
Oh,
And I
nice.
was like, I trust Hori. They're a good brand. I think they originally made this for like Mario Kart for the Switch because there was a Nintendo version of this. And they're probably like, yeah, let's just put it to PlayStation, Xbox. Why not? You know, they have racing games, right? So,
They or
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's nothing amazing, but it gets the job done. And it was fun to, like, as I said, drive around in Horizon 5 with it. So, cool.
nice.
That's sort of the major update. The other one is I've been really into retro achievements last couple days. I think right now I have 16 completed games, and one of them is the game for the week. But we'll get to that.
I saw that when I was doing research for this game. I was like, oh, I wonder if Thrak did these.
And I did.
Sure
I did them today, actually.
Oh, Lord.
They're really not that bad. But anyways, let's get into the news. I saw there was a decent amount of news, so we'll get through them. The first thing I saw, I guess this happened like today or yesterday. So we all know GTA 6 got delayed to May of next year. Did we talk about that last week?
We had briefly mentioned it. What's funny is when I didn't realize it was next year when I had first seen it. I thought it said just May 26th. I was like, holy shit, that's quick. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Okay, yeah, because I was kind of out of it last week, so it's kind of fuzzy. But yeah, they confirmed GTA 6 is delayed to May 26th of 2026, which is fine. We've been waiting 12 years. What's another 12 months, right? And then they put out that second trailer that looks really good, emphasized the story, and then of course online people got weird about it. You know, you know how it is. Like people were trying to claim GTA 6 is woke because it shows like a shirtless muscular dude and he's like glistening in the sun. It's like, yeah, because he's working on a roof and he's sweaty. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Everything is fucking woke now. It's
like, if you're complaining about that being like gay and woke, it's like clearly you have some.
How is that gay?
No, what it says to me is they have some sexual repression that they need to work through. If you think that's like gay and is attacking you, it's like, Bubby, you need to look in the mirror a little bit. You need to have some introspection. Because like and plus they showed her at the main character or the lady, they showed her ass like 15 times or something, you know, and the main focus is like a hetero couple.
But shirtless man, oh no.
Whatever, right?
Oh.
But anyways, they did all that. Cool, right? But for some reason, this rumor popped up. I think it was on the GTA forums or something like that, that a remaster, I'm going to use heavy quotes of this, of GTA 4 may be coming out this year. Now, they claim this person is a credible insider, but they didn't give a name to this person. But basically what the person said was, don't expect like a full remaster, but instead more of like a port. So if you remember, it was either last year, I forget, it was a while ago, and they did that Red Dead 1 remaster for PlayStation and Switch, and then they didn't bother doing an Xbox version because it was already backwards compatible, and it was basically the same things that they were doing. They're saying GTA 4 remaster is going to be the same thing, or they'll put all the DLC in, but it'll just be a bit of an upscaled port, nothing that crazy. So,
I mean, it's still a pretty good looking game, so that's not a terrible thing.
It's my favorite GTA, so that's cool. But I already own it for 360 and it's backwards compatible. So it's one of those where if it's not really worth, if they do a separate Xbox version and it's really not worth putting the money in, I'm not gonna bother, because I even have the physical with the DLC on the disc, so I already have it. Same. So, but that's cool. Why not? They also claimed a Max Payne 3 remake is on the way as well. And the idea is they're going to time that with the release of the Remedy remakes of Max Payne 1 and 2, which would be great. I mean, Max Payne 3 is one of the best third-person shooters ever made.
It's the best Max Payne game in terms of gameplay.
Yes. I hate the story of Max Payne 3. That's a different podcast. But the way that game plays, is phenomenal. I love how that game feels, and it is so much fun to play.
I love
that. Every once in a while, I think about replaying it just to do that shooting again because it's so good.
I love that they made the lemon face like a bonus skin.
That was cool because when Max Payne's 1 through 3 became backwards compatible on Xbox and like that last update, I waited for all 3 of them to go on sale and bought them in a bunch and played all 3 of them basically back to back. So, and they were fantastic games. And I look forward to the remakes of 1 and 2.
Oh yeah,
I'm very curious to how Remedy would approach that, especially nowadays with their different sensibility to things. So, but yeah, that apparently, yeah, that's in the works. I could believe it. I mean, I'd heard, I think it was like at least a year plus ago, that remasters of GTA 4, Bully, even potentially Manhunt were shelved to get GTA 6 out the door and ready to go. But the way they phrased it was those were going to be more like thorough remasters than just like a straight port. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? I want that Bully remaster.
I am excited for GTA 6 though. I'm glad they're finally going back to Vice City.
I'll wait till it's like $50.
Yeah, I'm not paying $100. That's for sure.
No, and it's funny to see the conversation on the pricing of it because now it feels like $80 is the standard, or has kind of been forced to be the standard when even 70 didn't feel like the standard, but now we're at 80, I guess. That everyone's like, oh yeah, GTA 6 is going to be at least $100.
I just think it's funny, like, as much as I don't want to pay $100 for these games, I've seen a lot of people being like, $100, that's insane. I'm just like, that used to be the norm back in the day. Like, you'd get special games. Like
I really hate that argument because I feel that argument is just really moot. And like,
I'm not saying it's like it's good. I'm just saying it.
No, because it's like it's clear that like people don't understand economics when they say that. Like games used to be like $80 in like 1995. It's like, yeah, the power of the dollar in 1995 went a lot further than it does now.
Also, a lot of the times,
yeah, there wasn't a standard price back then, sure, but also it was a cartridge, and you were paying to like.
It's also usually a special cartridge, like
exactly
racing or an FX game or something.
Exactly, I think the complaint more with like $70 and $80 is just the idea that every game is going to be priced that, when back then, as you said, every game was not priced that. Like back in the day, there was no way a company would get away with pricing like a Game Boy game for $80.
No,
it just it wouldn't happen. They were all like $30, right? It was like 20,
it was interesting because like
bucks maybe.
It was actually, I think it was like Sony, like when the PlayStation came out, that kind of standardized it because discs were so much cheaper.
Yeah, because then we had like 50 for a long time, and then it went to 60, and then it was 60 for a really long time, and now we've hit 70. I have bought a couple $70 games, but it's only games that I think are like worth the price. But with like an $80 game, I don't know if any game's gonna be worth that. You know, unless like Dragon Quest 12 is $80, then I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah,
I'm giving them my $80. I'll be mad, but I'll do it.
Persona 4 remake, if that
Persona
happens.
6 Persona 6 will be $80. But no one will complain because Persona 6 will be 5 million hours long, and you know, you can romance everything.
including the trash can.
Especially the trash can. It's a big enough hole. But so yeah, there's just like a lot of the price argument stuff I find is just kind of dumb. When really it's like, guys, it just sounds like you're simping for a corporation and letting them price gouge you. That's just all it sounds like to me. When really
Nintendo simps are the funniest people to watch.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, I view it as a game is the value of a game goes from person to person. You know, there will be people who view Mario Kart World as an $80 worthy game and won't have any issue with it. You know, and there are going to be other people who think it's way too much and will try to buy it used or wait for a sale or, you know, do other things to get it for a cheaper price. You know, it's a person by person thing. So, and all the $80 thing says to me is that I think video game companies are less and less trying to get more people in because they view their business as kind of stagnant and it's not growing at the rates that they want it to. So they're just going to try to get as much money out of all of us that they can. That's what it feels like to me, is what's going on. Because I mean, we say like, you know, with the Xbox prices going up, PlayStation 5 prices have been going up in other areas. It'll probably happen here too soon. Like all that stuff is basically saying that they're like, hey, we like either they think something bad's around the corner or they just view the growth as not what they want it to be. So instead of trying to lower prices to instigate growth, they're just kind of going with the trend of raising prices because everybody's raising prices. And they're like, we'll just get more money out of the people who will buy it anyways because that's just what they do, you know?
Well, because it's like you think about it, like the majority of like the casual gamer these days, they're all kind of conglomerating into like very specific things like Fortnite or Minecraft or Roblox. They kind of just are there. Mostly the kids, but they've somehow mastered the forever video game, a game that you can just play forever, you know? And also I think games like Fortnite and Minecraft and Roblox, a lot of the casual kids that play them don't even view them as video games. They view them as like social hangouts with their friends. Yeah.
You know?
It's like MMO culture from back in the day, only more
And
accessible.
and I think some of that stuff also is due to the stuff outside of gaming, like how there's really no spot for like kids to hang out anywhere. You know what I mean? Like kids just don't hang out in public like they used to because they've been discouraged from like going to various places. And there's no just like, oh, this place is just set up for people to hang out. Like, you know, like community doesn't exist. And I think this is kind of a tertiary result of that in a way, you know, but I guess we're not here to get too deep into that, into why everything's fucked. But yeah, it's just like the price thing is just, it's dumb. And at least with certain games, I know they will go down in price, so I'm not worried about it. Like GTA 6 will go down in price. I mean, despite it, even if it releases at $100, it will sell millions of copies day one. It's just going to. It'll be 13 years at that point. 13 fucking years, man. Somebody like the time between GTA 5 and GTA 6, somebody could have been born and in fucking middle school by now. Like it's crazy.
I was a senior in high school when GTA 5 came out. So
it was my first full year out of high school when GTA 5 came out. I went to the midnight launch. It was a fun night. That was a really fun night.
See, mine was awkward because the GameStop I went to was full of children. I was just like, "This is fucked." I was like, "This is fucked."
I'll say where I was, it was adults. It was a bunch of people my age and a little bit older.
Though I always remembered,
but I bought it. Well, my friend bought it for his PS3. I didn't buy GTA 5 for myself until it was like 2017 or 2018, maybe even prior to that. Like I got a PS4, and that was one of the few games I played on it.
See, I bought it just because it was like the principle. I was like, oh wow, it's the first GTA I can actually buy for myself.
Yeah.
And then I go in and it's full of children. And I'm just like, this is fucked.
I mean, I had already bought in GTA games prior to that. Like, well, I had the trilogy for PS2, but GTA 4. Did I buy that or was that gifted to me? I can't remember. But I did have GTA 4 and played that quite a bit on the 360. So
I wasn't allowed to play Grand Theft Auto until I could buy it myself. So that's how that went.
Funnily enough, when I hit 13, my parents were cool with it. They waited till I was a teenager until I could play it. Like prior to 13, they didn't give a shit. But once I hit that age, they were like, okay, fine, I guess, you know, whatever. Even though at that point I'd already kind of played it and I'd like seen my siblings play it, like I already knew about it, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because I didn't grow up with it like that. When I played 5, I was kind of like, this is good, but I don't get why this is like the greatest thing ever. Like some people think.
I've been thinking about that, about why GTA is so popular and so beloved. And not even necessarily like now with the GTA Online stuff. I mean, throughout the whole, since GTA 3, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's due to quite a few different factors. One, I think people really like the open world structure of GTA where you can just kind of do what you want. So there's that freedom there.
It's a structure of gaming that we've taken massively for granted these days.
Yeah, but also I think a lot of game companies don't, especially these days, are so far removed from what made GTA 3 so popular that a lot of open world games just don't have that same excitement anymore.
Well, but they miss what made GTA 3 such a revolution was how smartly designed that world was. Now they're just like even now it's like pretty well designed. Like it's not super huge. Like it's big, but it doesn't feel like unreachable, you know? But I think you take that
and then couple it with kind of like that realistic setting, which I think people kind of gravitate towards, and also the big influence of like crime movies, because those have always been really popular. The Godfather, Goodfellas, Heat, other like Michael Mann stuff. That's always been a huge influence on GTA. And then the big thing I think is like the power fantasy, because a lot of people I think have sort of a destructive nature in themselves, where it's like, wouldn't it be great if I could just destroy a bunch of shit, but due to society and responsibilities, we can't do that. And GTA allows us to live that vicariously, like escapism kind of a thing. And I think GTA is the prime type of escapism that appeals to everybody. The idea of stealing a car, just driving around, running random people over, blowing up cop cars, like we all get those, like that idea just sounds enticing, I think, for a lot of people, just to, break the establishment and just kind of fuck around. But, since we can't do that for the most part, that game has just provided a perfect way of being able to do that. And as I said, couple it with the organized crime stuff, which people have always been kind of drawn to in fiction. And I think that's why GTA has always maintained its massive popularity. It's like if like I could always see like another organized crime movie, like a Scorsese type film becoming really big again. Like that stuff never really goes away. It always kind of maintains interest for people.
Yeah.
That was a long tangent.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto does that because it's such a fascinating subject.
It is. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of the price stuff, EA, they had said they have no plans to raise the game prices.
I'll believe you when it happens. We'll see.
Yeah, Electronic Arts has suggested it has no plans to raise the price of its games in the wake of other companies doing the same. And this was in their earnings call like almost a week ago. That they don't. Like right now, like I view it as like the Madden and college football and all that's coming out this year are going to be 70. But I guarantee you for next year, they're like, should we raise these to 80? We'll probably raise them to 80. It's probably going to happen. So don't be surprised if it happens. Though I don't. I don't really think anybody will be surprised.
You know what I think they're doing? They're gonna kind of feel it out. They're gonna be like, all right, let's see how many people actually do this. And if it becomes like the standard, they're gonna be like, well, I mean, if everyone's doing it,
I think that's genuinely the smart way to go about it. Is see, don't use Mario Kart World as an example, because that's gonna sell well regardless.
Yeah,
we know it's going to sell well regardless. So that's not really a good example to go off of, but that's the one they're going to go off of.
As much as I hate it, Nintendo is incredibly smart using Mario Kart as like the tester, because they know people are going to buy it.
It was the same when they did Tears of Kingdom for 70.
Yeah.
We all knew, we're like, oh, they're testing $70 games, and this is the game they're going to test it on to see if people pay $70 for Zelda. We all did. I fucking did. I've barely even played that game. My son has played my copy more than I have, and he's only played it for like 2 hours. So, see, that's a game that I think really does the open world stuff in a way that I do not like.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's that Minecraft thing where it's just like after a while, it's aimless, and I just get bored and want to do something else. So that's just me, though. Let's see. What else do we got? Netflix is removing Bandersnatch, its interactive video game episode of Black Mirror. Now, it's weird I saw this because I think it was like a couple weeks ago. I like booted up Netflix and watched a little bit of it and was like, I kind of want to see what this whole thing's about. I didn't finish it, unfortunately. I think my friend's Netflix account ran out because I was mooching off of his Netflix, but he let me. So I didn't get to finish this, but yeah, seeing this is being, I think it's already gone by this point, because this article came out. It was the 7th of May, and it said it would be removed next week. So I think it's gone already, which really sucks, because this was the kind of stuff where it was like, oh, Netflix is making games. This is kind of what I thought they would do, kind of like FMV influenced type stuff, like like an interactive episode of Black Mirror and all that. And it's a shame they didn't do more of this. I think they did it with like a couple of other things, but they didn't commit to it like I was hoping they would. Instead, they're just like, oh, you can play Sonic Mania on our Netflix app. It's like, what? Who the fuck? Who cares?
Like,
who gives a shit? Like, if you want to play Sonic Mania, you have a way to play Sonic Mania.
Yeah, there's many other ways.
Yeah, they had a decent amount of games on their library, like a kind of impressive set. But it's like, who the fuck are playing these?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if you go on YouTube now and they have that like little games thing where it's like, oh, you can play like mobile games on the YouTube. It's like, who does that? Like, who actually does that?
It's hilarious because YouTube is usually the thing that's in the background while people are playing games.
Oh, all the time. All the time. It's kind of a bad habit for me.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that this has gone the way that it has. If there's a way that this has been preserved and I can play it online, please let me know. So I would like to actually see that whole thing through. So I like Black Mirror. Black Mirror is cool.
I wonder if it's a licensing issue.
They own Black Mirror.
Oh.
It's a Netflix show.
I don't know them. Maybe it just flopped and they just said, fuck it. I don't know.
Let me see what their reasoning was. Netflix is reportedly set to roll out an all-new UI redesign over the coming weeks, and its interactive tech is not part of the redesign, which is why those specials are being removed. It's not clear if it'll return in a non-interactive form. They're saying it's like one of those possible things, but who knows? It might be something they put back later if there's enough demand for it. So
yeah, my guess is it was one of those things that they didn't really get much use out of, and they just decided it's too expensive to keep developing, so we're just going to get rid of it.
You're probably right on that, because it reminded me of stuff like, if you ever played like Late Shift and like that kind of FMV game, it just kind of reminded me of that. They probably took influence from those games. So, oh well, who knows? Maybe they'll do some with it. Maybe they'll release it as like a thing you can play on like Steam or something. Why not? Right? I'd buy it. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, Mafia: The Old Country. It got a nice gameplay reveal trailer. And it's coming out in August 8th. It's in my fantasy draft, so it needs to hit, god damn it. But what's interesting about it is it's coming in at $50, which is really cool. And the trailer, I mean, the game looks fantastic. And they said that it is a focused linear experience. So there's no open world in this at all, which honestly I think is a good thing. I think is a good thing.
That's honestly refreshing because I'm so tired of open world games at this point.
Well, the Mafia series had been open world prior. Like Mafia 1 was like the original and the remake were both open world. But what I liked about the remake was it kind of split the story and the open world separately. So it's like, oh, if you want to do the story, here's the linear thing. Oh, if you want to go fuck around the open world, here's this to go like do random side stuff. I liked how they did that. So you could get the different experiences, And then Mafia 2 is technically open world, but most people just play the very linear story that's in it. And there's not much to do in that open world anyways. And I'm not a big fan of Mafia 2, which is a hot take. But Mafia 3 was the more like straight up like GTA clone, where it's like a big open world where there's a lot of stuff to do and all that. And it's a very big game. I've wanted to sit down and see that game through to the end. Because I have friends who really like Mafia 3. It's a bit of a controversial game. Some people like it, some people don't. But I've liked what I've seen of the game, and it has a fresh sort of locale, even for open world games today. Like it's in New Orleans during the 60s, like the late 60s. So,
an open world game that I really liked that completely just it fell off the face of the earth.
What's that?
Sleeping Dogs.
I've actually been playing Sleeping Dogs recently.
It's pretty good. Like
I booted it up randomly the other day because I feel like an idiot because I've known about Sleeping Dogs since it released. And like one of my friends just loves that game to death. And I watched him play it back then. And I was just kind of like, I have GTA. I don't need this shit. Because I didn't know any better. And then I bought it on my Xbox for dirt cheap for like $7 or whatever. And then randomly I was like, let me just turn this on. Let's see what it is. And I've put a few hours into it, and I am such an idiot. This game is amazing. It's so good. It takes like the cinematic storytelling of like GTA, but makes it a little bit more gameplay focused, like Saints Row, in that regard, and a splash of Yakuza. Just like a nice splash for like flavor. Maybe that's more of like the Asian oriented setting potentially. The kind of focus on like hand-to-hand combat as opposed to like gun combat. You can just do karaoke, which is a very Yakuza thing for me. Sleeping Dogs is like, this is really cool. I really like this game. And the way you balance like being in the gang and being an undercover cop and all the little things that it does, I think is really cool. And also that map isn't massive. It's a decent sized map, but it's not so insane that you can't traverse it all. So yeah, Sleeping Dogs is great. Or True Crime Hong Kong. That was its original title.
Yeah. I remember when that one came out and like no one gave a crap, and then like years after it was already like dead, people were like, "Oh yeah, this game was great." Everyone's
that game was destined to be a cult hit, because I think the true crime games were also sort of cult hits. Because I remember Streets of LA and New York, like when they were new, and people were like, "Yeah, they're fine, but we have GTA. We don't need these." It's just that era of like when the GTA clone was such a big deal, and True Crime was one of the bigger examples of it, probably because it was Activision. It just felt like there were so many, and they were like a dime a dozen. People were just kind of like whatever to them. But now that we're kind of past that, we're able to look back and be like, oh, these were like the good ones. Like these are the ones we should have been fucking playing the whole time. And Sleeping Dogs is definitely one of those. So, but also it was published by Square Enix. And
it was such a weird choice.
Well, I believe the story was it was True Crime Hong Kong, but then Activision, they didn't want to fund it because New York and Streets of LA didn't do super well. So it was kind of left to die. And then Square Enix, in their era of being like, oh, we need to appeal to Western gamers. So we need Tomb Raider. We need Hitman. We need Sleeping Dogs or True Crime Hong Kong, but we're going to call it Sleeping Dogs because we didn't buy the name True Crime. And they did the whole thing with it and didn't promote it.
Yeah, of course.
In typical Square Enix fashion. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a really cool game. And Mafia 3 is also a pretty cool game, despite it having some issues and kind of being a little too much at times, as far as like the big open world with all the stuff to do. So to see the old country just be a straight up like third person linear, like probably closer to like a Max Payne 3 type deal. Like it seems like that's kind of what they're going for, like a third person action adventure shooter that's just linear to the end, because that's what Max Payne 3 was, focusing on the story. So if it can reach that quality, I'd say we're doing all right. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah. Speaking of releases we're looking forward to, the Gex trilogy finally got a fucking release date.
I never expected a Gex Yoshitaka Amano crossover, but here we are.
Yeah, that weird art that you showed me, that looks really cool. I like how that looks.
That's the cover for the special edition, I guess. Yeah,
I like it. But yeah, it's coming out June 16th. It is, the standard edition is $40. I imagine that'll probably just be the price for it, like digitally or whatever, which is fine. I can live with that. But then there's like the big deluxe edition with, like, as you said, the art, the retro boxes, trading cards. They give you a Gex statue and a 3-foot inflatable Gex doll.
Hooray.
Do with that what you please, internet.
Don't share. I don't want to know.
Oh, they'll share, but in places where you have to go out of your way to find it.
You know that Gex statue's going in a jar.
Yeah, and that whole thing is, I think, $200. Yeah,
I saw that and I just went, okay, limited run, whatever you say.
Sure. I was trying to remember what all was like being added into this, because it's just the 3 games with all of like your normal emulator, save state, rewind stuff, music player. Oh, they have an interview with Dana Gould, which that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
I wonder if they're going to include the European dubs. I doubt it, but that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. But when this collection comes out, we will play through the other two Gex games and we'll do reviews of them, just because it feels right for this show. And I've never played Gex 2 and 3, so those will be fun to play.
I can't wait for all the new, like the first time Gex players that are going to play these and listen to all that dated dialogue and be like, what is this?
Well, and then they're going to play the game and go, wait a minute, this isn't bad. This is actually like kind of good. It's like, yeah, it was always kind of good. I'll probably replay through 1 as well. Might as well.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh yeah, this was something I thought was interesting. Hideki Kamiya said he'd love to remake Devil May Cry.
Sure.
So I guess, yeah, because Clover is like working with Capcom again. People were asking him about like, going back to old IPs that he hadn't touched in years, right? There's this great quote from Kamiya about Devil May Cry. He said, I usually don't replay my own games after release, and Devil May Cry is no exception, but once in a while I catch gameplay clips and think, yeah, this really does feel like a 24-year-old video game design. and I played and beat DMC 1 a couple months back for the first time, and yeah, that is a game from 2001. Absolutely. I'm not against the idea of him doing a remake of 1. I'd be curious to how he'd handle it.
See, my whole thing is like, I'd love a remake, but they got to keep that voice acting the way it is because it is perfect.
Don't change the acting; it's perfect.
You need that line preserved forever.
The soul, yes, fill your soul with light. Or maybe he'll remake 2 and make it good. He wasn't involved in 2, was he?
I don't believe so.
No, maybe he could fix it. Who knows?
2's problem is it's just boring. Like,
2's not a good game. It is not a good video game.
It's like fundamentally fine. It's just so boring. Like, that's the problem.
Oh yeah, and it was way too easy. I breezed through that fucking game, and I'm like, this should not be this easy. It
they were
felt
like,
insulting.
Let's make these big open areas to fight and make them boring as fuck. It's like, okay.
Exactly. But he had also mentioned in this review that he said, also, let me handle Beautiful Joe. And I'm like, where the fuck is the Beautiful Joe HD collection? Why is that not a thing? Why don't I have that on my Xbox right now? Like,
because
Beautiful Joe
bought those games, and it bums me out.
I had Beautiful Joe 2 back in the day. I played the shit out of that game. I didn't know what I was doing half the time, but I loved it. It was great. It's a series that, honestly, you go back and play those games now, they've aged really well.
It's a series that would have
well.
It's a series that came out at the wrong time. It would have done so much better these days.
Hell, even if it came out on the 360, it would have done better. Like, it was at least one generation behind. Yeah, if it came out the 360 era, hell, the PS4 era, it would have done fantastically well, I think. And nowadays, if you did a Beautiful Joe HD collection, I guarantee you Capcom would go, holy shit, this thing sold really well. It's just the vibe I get. Like, Beautiful Joe would do really well again. So bring it back.
It fits with the culture nowadays. Like, it has a vibe that like really resonates with people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I hope they do something with that. That would be nice. Speaking of things that are really nice, the whole Giant Bomb situation apparently ended kind of nicely. So I don't know if we talked about this before, but there was the whole controversy with Giant Bomb, like fandom shutting them down, or trying to revamp everything or whatever, and things looked really bad. Well, at PAX, Jeff Grubb, Jeff Bakalar, Dan Reichert, Mike Minotti, and Jan Ocho or whatever, I probably said that wrong. They announced that they had bought Giant Bomb from fandom, so it's independent again, and they own the whole thing. Which is cool. It's weird to see Giant Bomb do this full circle of independent and then being owned by all these different companies, and now it's back to being independent again.
It's crazy when they actually are able to do that too, because I know a lot of the times, like the owners of the name will be like, "No, we're not selling it," just to be nice.
Like they were actually kind of surprised. Like Dan Reichert was on the latest episode of Gertzman's show. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but he even said he was kind of surprised at how they were actually able to buy it, and how like fandom was able to like figure it out so that they could just straight up own it. Like they were kind of surprised about that, but they got it done. So that's cool to see. Who knows? Maybe Polygon will come back. I doubt that. That's a different situation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's see other cool things. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. This is like the big re-release of Virtua Fighter 5 again, right? Like it's already on Steam and everything. It's coming to all the consoles this year, or potentially this year. They announced it for PS5, Series, and Switch 2. They didn't give a release date for it. I'm assuming it's going to be sometime this year. But that's honestly fantastic because I've been kind of waiting to buy Virtua Fighter 5 again. So when this comes out, I will buy it again, and y'all can meet me in there, and we'll Virtua fight. It's gonna have cross-platform play and all that good stuff.
To this day, still the fact that it's aged as well as it has is really amazing. But also, like, that is still to this day one of the most complete fighting games I think I've ever played.
It is really, really good. I remember when it came out on 360, and I was genuinely impressed with it, like how good it looked, how smooth the game was. It was a bit more technical than some of the past Virtua Fighters, but it felt like it was aging really well. Like the series was aging surprisingly well without doing a bunch of completely new things like Mortal Kombat or Tekken or whatever. Like it was able to kind of maintain its identity as it was evolving, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it felt like when Virtua Fighter 5 came out and did really well, like we never got Virtua Fighter 6 or anything after that. So
no,
it's
the
like
series kind of just lulled.
Yeah, they kind of just gave up on it. Well, I know in that era, the 360 era, fighting games kind of had a lull for a while. Like they picked up kind of near the end, but it took a while.
The big return was Street Fighter 4 and then Mortal Kombat 9 were like the big like.
Yeah, but then you had like Street Fighter 5, which didn't do super well.
No, 5 was a weird.
And then there was like Marvel vs. Capcom, like 3 and Infinite, and those didn't hit super well either.
3 did well, Infinite not so much.
Yeah, and then like Soul Cal 5 didn't do super well, but Soul Cal 6 did a little bit better, and Tekken has always been like Tekken. So
Tekken always does really well. Mortal Kombat has been killing it since 9.
Oh yeah, they've been doing really, really well. Though it feels like after 1, my guess is after 1, they're probably going to be taking a break from the series because they've been
another Injustice or something.
They might do another Injustice or something, but it's like with Mortal Kombat, from what I know, because I haven't played through the story of it, so I don't know. But from what I've gotten the vibe of is people are at a point with Mortal Kombat where it's like, what are you going to do next? Like, are you just going to constantly retell the first handful of games and revamp them to be slightly different? Or it's like, you need to do something a little more different in that regard. So they might take some time to actually think about what they want to do, which I think would be the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool to see Virtua Fighter 5 on here, and then we got Virtua Fighter 6 coming eventually. So that's exciting, and I'm all excited for that. So that'll be great. Let's see. So we all know the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remasters coming out soon, right? I think with July. Somebody asked Tony Hawk, how do you feel about Underground 1 and 2 getting a remaster? And he said he would campaign all he can. He said he would love to do it, but it's not really up to him to a certain degree, and he's correct on that. I think the success of 3 and 4, like, that depends on a Underground remaster, basically, or if they're going to remake Underground.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I skipped Underground 1 and 2 when they came out. I don't know why. I never played them. Like, I played a lot of 3, a good amount of 4, played a bit of 1 and 2, and then jumped right to American Wasteland and played a shit ton of that. But for some reason, I skipped Underground 1 and 2. Honestly, I don't know why. They just passed me by.
Yeah, it was a different. You know what's weird? Whenever I thought of Tony Hawk Underground, I always thought of Need for Speed because they also had Underground.
That's fair. I'll say I had Need for Speed Underground on the GameCube. That was a great game. So
I have the GBA version with the greatest music ever.
I think I have it somewhere. Somewhere in those cases. I'd have to check. But yeah, that's cool to see. Underground remake potential. I'd go for it. Why not? Let's see. Oh yes, FBC Firebreak, the Control spinoff. It's like a tech. It's classifying it as a technical test this weekend, like a closed alpha, closed beta thing or whatever. It's across all PC. It's across PC and all the consoles. So I signed up for it. I don't know if I'll get in, but if I do, I'll talk about it next week. So
Nice.
stay tuned for that because I'm really excited for this game. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, sure. I'll jump in. We'll see if I get it. So I'll let you all know. Oh yeah, we were talking about Capcom. I guess they had a financial, or they had like an earnings call or whatever. They had a 8th consecutive year of record results, 12th consecutive year of operating profit growth.
The farther and farther we get away from it, the more I start to realize KG Inafune was the problem.
Did he leave 8 years ago?
Something
12
like
years ago?
Well, because they were in that really bad place for a while, like right when he left, and it took them a few years to rebuild, but they've been doing fine ever since.
I mean, really, it's when we hit Resident Evil 7 and Monster Hunter World. That's when Capcom started their ascent to where they are now. That's where it felt like that was the beginning of the comeback.
Well, it's when they stopped trying to appeal to Americans and just did their own thing, and all the Americans were like, "This is what we wanted."
Well, and think about it. They had trimmed everything down to just Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter because they're like, these are what are still consistently selling and doing well. Let's just make these as best as we can and not do anything else.
And every now and then we'll throw the Mega Man fans a bone with a remaster. Or something.
Yeah. Well, and now we are where we are now, where those franchises are still doing really well to the point where like we haven't had a new Resident Evil game in a while, which I think is a good thing. Give that series a bit of a break. We had the new Monster Hunter this year, and it'll probably be the newest Monster Hunter for a good while. And they're starting to experiment again. You know, I mean, hell, we're getting Okami too. We've gotten the Path of the Goddess game. We've gotten like we're getting, Onimusha's coming back. You know, like Capcom, you can tell they're in a good spot now because they're starting to look through their other IP or even make new IP and see like, oh, what can we do? Because like they're like, oh, we're okay. We can experiment a little bit and see what else is out there. So that's why I'm like, Beautiful Joe might be the time for that, you know? Hell, remaster God Hand. Do it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Have the balls.
Give it a second chance.
I'd buy it. I would 100% buy it. God Hand is awesome. There's still a lot they could do. So we'll see what they do. And of course, as you said with Mega Man, the big old what are they doing with Mega Man? I don't even think they know what they're doing with Mega Man.
No, we'll get another collection at some point.
The Legends collection would be next.
They're gonna troll the fuck out of us and do like Mega Man Star Force collection next. I didn't
even know that was a series. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was the sequel to Battle Network on the DS.
Okay.
They were more of those weird RPG-ish ones.
Well, I know that like the Battle Network collection did really well, and when Capcom made a thing about it, I think people were like, "Oh, are they going to do a new Battle Network?" And I'm like, I don't know. That might be too niche. I mean, it's possible they might be doing one. I don't know, but yeah, they'll probably do some with Mega Man, whether it's Mega Man 12 or a Legends collection or
X9.
Maybe? No. No. I think I'm pretty sure the X series is dead.
Just leave X8 on that perpetual cliffhanger forever.
It's been so long. I think people who work at Capcom forgot about
it. Probably.
Because and also the numbered Mega Man games still have a lot of love from everybody because I think they're consistently pretty all right. But like the X series went through so many ups and downs and just became this weird, I don't want to say toxic, but just like the whole X thing just kind of got muddied after what was like X4 or something.
5 is good except for some of the bullshit that can happen in the middle of it.
Yeah, but like things got really weird with that, and for a long time it was kind of one of their flagship series. Like they were kind of hanging their hat on the X series. So I think they almost have cold feet to bring it back. Because also if you do an X9, what the fuck do you do? Like, do you do like a 2.5 D1? Do you do like a tribute to the Super Nintendo ones, like Mega Man 9?
Probably not, because I think they're past that. But
if X9 looked like X1 through 3, I think people would flip.
They probably would. But, I mean, to be honest, X8 was a perfect direction to go, and they just decided not to go any farther.
I mean, it's the same with like Mega Man 11. Like they did all this work to make like a new look and style for Mega Man, and they haven't done jack shit with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's the thing. They always get asked, like, what are you doing with Mega Man? They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine at Capcom, there's like a couple dudes in the corner of like their office working on something Mega Man or trying to be like, what can we do with Mega Man? I guarantee you there's like 2 or 3 guys just like kind of shoved into a cubicle over here. And their job is to try to do something with Mega Man.
I mean, when it comes to Capcom, the one thing I'm waiting on is when's the next Ace Attorney?
Do they need, there's like 1,500 Ace Attorney games. Do you need another one?
There's only 6.
That's a lot of fucking games in that specific style.
It's been a while since 6 came out.
I mean, with everything Capcom's doing right now, sure they could do another one.
I mean, they've done the collection.
So with the collections, they're all out here now.
We have everything is readily available except for the crossover now. That's the only thing that's kind of stuck somewhere.
And that's not 100% up to them.
No. But we did finally get Investigation 2.
That's good. And with how level 5 is, like I love level 5, I love Layton. They don't re-release Layton. And I think it's harder to do because those games were made specifically for the DS and the 3DS. So trying to replicate those on anything else is kind of difficult. Like at least with the Ace Attorney games, they're just kind of point and click visual novels, and you can recreate those on anything.
Yeah.
But Layton relies a lot on like the touch screen and using that kind of stuff. So that might be why. Who knows? Like they don't even have mobile ports, which I think a mobile port of like the old Layton games would make sense, you know? But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna play that new one, so who knows? I'm very excited for that new one. Let's see. Oh yeah, speaking of Tekken, I heard about this. I thought this was interesting. The Tekken boss wants to add an official Waffle House stage, but says it's ignoring his calls. So let's see. Tekken series producer Kishiro Harada, I probably said that wrong, says he wants to add a stage inspired by Waffle House, but the U.S. restaurant chain is ignoring his collaboration request.
Come on, Waffle House. Be fucking cool. You're already metal as fuck. Be cool.
I love Waffle House, but this genuinely hurts them if they like turn this down. I'm like, this docks points on Waffle House.
I would love just like a background, like if they make this stage, like you can throw something in the background, you get the one employee who like fucking karate chops the chair away, like in that video from years ago.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna read a little bit more of this article. Last year, Harada took to Twitter to ask his followers why so many of them were asking him to add a Tekken stage set in a Waffle House. Players replied by explaining that Waffle House is something of a meme due to its numerous viral videos of fights taking place in the restaurant, sometimes involving staff. We've all seen those videos.
Yeah.
One video in particular sees a customer throwing a chair at a worker who's able to block it mid-air and throw it to the side, a move that has led numerous memes comparing it to a fighting game.
Harada got fired for that too.
I know. Harada himself commented on it, calling it an excellent parry. Now, a year later, he's updated players on the situation as spotted by Automaton, thank you, saying he's been trying his best to contact Waffle House for a potential collab, but they aren't replying to his requests. To be honest, within the bounds of what I can say, I fully understand your guys' requests. That's precisely why I had considered taking on this challenge, which is what he wrote. In fact, I had already been thinking about it quite a while ago. Over the past year or more, I've tried to make contact through several different channels. However, and this is purely my own speculation, I suspect that the lack of response may be due to the fact that the project I'm known for revolves around fighting-themed video games. By the way, no response equals very rare case. Let's see, and there's a Twitter thing where it's like, still waiting for the stage. He says, if we can't get that house name license, how about we call it Hustle House Stage? Doesn't that make sense to everyone? So now he's saying like, oh, we'll do a trademark-free version of Waffle House Stage. Sure, why not? Why not?
Waffle House is like the meme of restaurants. Just like the fights, they're batshit insane, like fucking like weird way they do their orders on like plates and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then of course the fact that they will stay open until the store literally burns down. Like,
oh yeah,
it is the most insane shit ever.
Waffle House is the best, and the only thing I could guess why they're ignoring him is because I have a feeling they think it's like a joke.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there are people at Waffle House Corporate who have seen his like questions and they're like, there's no fucking way. They're like, there's no way the dude from Tekken wants to collab with us. This just seems really stupid. And they probably just throw it off as a joke. You know what I mean? That would be my guess. But who knows? With this becoming more of like a public thing, they may actually say something about it.
I'm surprised they're not getting. Actually, they probably are getting blown up on shitter right now. So.
Oh, I guarantee you, there are now people blowing up their social media about Tekken. Guaranteed right now. And then they have to be like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" Because I don't think they've ever done this kind of collab before, ever.
No.
So this is like new territory for them. I hope they figure it out because that would be really cool to see. That would be amazing to see. So who knows? Hopefully I can update you all on that. A couple more things and then we'll get to the game, I swear. So that Marvel Rise of Hydra game, I was smart because I had originally put it in my Super Pod draft, but then I traded it out because I was like, this game could get delayed. I'm not sure. I was kind of iffy on it. It got fucking delayed.
Yep.
I guess it was planned to come out this year. I didn't even realize that. But they pushed it out to next year, saying like, oh, we need more time, the normal stuff. So fine, no big deal. I'm just glad that it got knocked out of my Super Pod draft, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. So yeah, who knows? All right, the last thing, this was today. Will like this because Microsoft did a bad thing.
Oh, geez.
They have announced plans to lay off thousands of more workers.
Yeah.
A company, apparently 3% of the employees across like the entire company, which is a lot. The layoffs will take place across all levels, teams, and locations, according to a report suggesting that Microsoft's gaming division may be affected to some extent. Well, they said all departments. According to the report, let's see, they have over 200,000 employees. So 3%, that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
It makes me wonder if this is like fat trimming.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies have been doing this recently, not just them, where I think we said before, like COVID, there was so much growth during COVID because everyone was staying inside and they were just consuming shit. So they're like, oh, like growth is happening. We need to expand. Because for some reason they thought this growth was sustainable, which it wasn't. It clearly wasn't, but they were convinced it was. And so now they're at that point where they're like, yeah, this isn't sustainable. Now we have to get back to where we were. Like I get it, but it's still, it's so stupid that they did it in the first place and they were so short-sighted on it. And yeah, this sucks, man. This sucks. I feel bad for all these people getting laid off, and it's just it's so weird, especially when like Microsoft's gaming division has been doing so much better. Like hell, it feels like since Indie and the Great Circle, they've kind of like turned the page, and like most of the first party stuff that's been coming out since then, everyone's like, yeah, this shit's really good. I mean, hell, Doom the Dark Ages is coming out, and people are digging that. So.
It's probably not even the gaming division that's causing it. It's probably the rest of the company. And unfortunately, the gaming division is probably just going to be the casualty of it.
Well, the big thing with Microsoft right now is they're really pushing AI. Like in the entire company, they view AI as the future. Yeah. Like if you ever look at like stuff that the CEO, whenever he talks, he's always like, oh yeah, like we're pushing AI as like the future for everything. And a lot of the stuff that like Xbox has been doing with AI, which is like weird stuff. From what I've read, it's a case of them in the gaming division. They're like, oh, we're being told that AI is the future and we have to incorporate it somehow. And they're just like, this, I guess. I don't know. I feel like the people in Xbox aren't super invested in the AI either, but they just kind of have to try to shoehorn it in certain spots to appease the higher ups.
Especially because it's very clear that the world is very anti-AI right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's been said before that like there are good uses for AI. There's a way to use it properly.
You can use it as a tool, not as a tool creation device.
Well, and I like the idea. Somebody brought this up with AI. The idea of you could use AI in like research for like diseases and cancer to try to find like solutions for it. Like using AI just to like help research like ways of like say curing cancer that we thought was incurable. Like you could use it in those ways to genuinely be a good thing, but a lot of people aren't using them for that. We have like state governments using them to like look at like unemployment court cases and like awful shit like that. That stuff is what I don't trust.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping within a couple decades we've gone past like the AI scare, and it's just like it's been integrated in a way that like helps everybody and doesn't like affect everybody. I hope, but there's no guarantee of that. But yeah, roundabout way of like, yeah, Microsoft's being weird and they're being dumb, you know, like normal, right? This is normal. It's what they always do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
again, all these corporations do dumb shit. So,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, Microsoft laying off thousands of people when as far as I know they're doing just fine. It sucks. So, I hope those people land on their feet, but no guarantee of that.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's the news.
Yeah.
I made it under an hour.
Yeah. The only other thing, we did get a music drop today.
Oh,
Nothing-
we did. Oh, hold on.
Nothing too special, but we did get one game.
Hold on. God, I never look at this app. Like every time it's like, oh. I will say it's gotten better with like, you know how I used to complain about I'd have to open it twice. Now I can only open it once and it's fine. They've fixed that issue.
I mean, we are getting a decent library now. It's still pathetic for what this app could be, but it is at least a library now.
Every time I look at it, I'm like, man, if this was day one, it'd be fine. Oh, is it Sword and Shield?
Yeah, they dropped Sword and Shield today.
Sure.
Which is, you know, Sword and Shield I've come around on. I actually kind of like that game now, so I'm okay with it.
I've considered hunting down a cheap copy of Sword to play it.
So I played it. Shout out to Play Along Pod. I played it for one of their Get Wrecked episodes, and I got through it, and I'm like, you know, I might actually finish this. I still haven't, but I do plan on going back to it at some point just to finish it.
It's funny because my son likes Pokemon. Like he has a burgeoning interest in it. And he's asked me before to get like Scarlet or Violet. And I'm just like, no, not getting those because of the bad reputation around them. But like Sword and Shield, from what I know, those actually run.
Oh yeah.
So I've been trying to like, occasionally I'll like try to see if I can find a copy of like Sword for like $30. Haven't been super successful in that. I can find it for like 45, but I'm trying to wait to like, if it can get a little bit cheaper than that, I would buy a copy and then be like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll fuck around with Sword.
Yeah,
sure, why not? Why not?
It's going back to it. I kind of liked it. So,
I mean, I'm not a big Pokemon guy, but you know, sure.
I'm a jaded Pokemon fan, so that's basically I just look at them all. And I'm like, yeah,
that's fair. I feel like if I booted one up and played it like kind of casually, I'd probably be just fine with it. So who knows? But anyways, that's everything as far as I know. So now we can talk about what really matters. Shelley Duvall. Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall.
Well, no. You got to do it like the game. Hello. Where she just pops in out of the corner.
Like it's a really weird like crop photo, and then it does like the animorphs to like like an animated character that doesn't even look like her. And it's like, hello, I'm Shelley Duvall.
That legitimately jump scared me when it happened because it just like, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it's like when that first happened, I thought the game was breaking. I thought I did something wrong. I was like, is this one of those games that don't emulate well? And no, it actually emulates just fine.
I can tell you that it does it on this, and it was like when it happened on screen, I'm like,
fuck.
I'm like, is this a bootleg? Like, I was very confused for a minute.
Yeah. So I guess we're talking about Shelley Duvall's "It's a Bird Life," which was a PC and 3DO educational title released in, I want to say 1993.
I believe so.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we need to explain who Shelley Duvall is. I doubt it. I guess for those who don't know, she is she was a famous actress who is mainly known for being in The Shining. But she's also done some other stuff. She was known as she was Olive Oyl in the live action Popeye movie. Ideal casting. She was also in Macabre and Mrs. Miller, which was like a notable Western film from the 70s. She was in some Woody Allen stuff. Gross. Don't get me started on that. Yeah, she's in Annie Hall, the only Woody Allen movie I'll ever watch. She was also in like Time Bandits. a movie called Frankenweenie, because why not?
That sounds wonderful.
And yeah, like, and she was, pretty notable in the 70s and the 80s as kind of like a notable actress. But then around the late 80s into the 90s, she took a break from everything. And one of the things that she did in her little break was create these educational titles, like It's a Bird's Life. She did it with her longtime partner, Dan Gilroy. So that's the Dan in here, if you weren't sure. And yeah, this is like a educational game that is about Shelley and Dan and the cavalcade of birds that they raise in their house. I guess I don't know how true it is. I mean, I get the sense from Shelley Duvall, because she never had any children, that she was somebody who probably had a lot of animals. Because there was also, I think it's a Dog's Life as well.
That was the other game she had done.
Yeah,
but it was not on 3DO.
Yeah, I didn't touch that one. I'm sure it's on my Abandonware as well. But yeah, I didn't touch that one at all. And these games were done by a company called Sanctuary Woods Multimedia Inc.
Nowadays known as Disney Interactive Victoria.
Oh, they still exist?
No, but that was what they died as.
Yeah, I'm looking at their little gameography here. There's not a lot here. A
lot of Disney
games. Some Ripley's Believe It or Not games, sure. They did Dennis and Miller's That's News to Me on 3DO, which we'll have to cover. We have to cover that in the future.
They made one game that made me laugh just because of that episode of Come Cook With Us or whatever.
Come Dine With Me.
Come Dine With Me, yes.
Get your fucking shit together. It's the best TV show ever made.
They made a game called Digby's Adventures, and I just laughed. I was like, that was our boy.
Digby. Yeah, Digby was awesome. Yeah, now looking at like Disney Victoria, yeah, they did a bunch of random educational shit.
NFL Math. Let's go.
NFL Math. Where is NFL Math? Where is this game? I see NFL Reading. There it is.
NFL Math. My God.
All right, tune in next week after I put 100 hours in the NFL Math. I'll tell you everything about it.
Real turn-based strategy? What?
I need to see NFL Math 1,000%. Okay. All right. Hold on. See, this is the shit I live for. Like when Chris is always like, you play the weirdest fucking games. I'm like, yes, I do, because this shit is what interests me. That's why I don't play a lot of like notable big games that I miss out on, because I'm too busy playing NFL Math.
NFL Reading is also by the same people.
Yeah.
It is.
Hold on. Where the fuck? NFL. I gotta type it in. There it is. Holy shit. 1996. What? Fuck Mario 64. We have NFL Math. All right. I guess. All right. I'm gonna play this later. I'll let you all know. Anyways,
the Reading one has the NFL license too, because it has all the teams from that time.
Well, so does. Oh, Math doesn't? No, it does.
Oh, I didn't see a screenshot of it. So
yeah, it has the NFL and the Players Association. Thank God. I can beat Jerry Rice while I'm doing long division.
Oh, you can play as Drew Bledsoe. All right.
You can play as Warren Moon and yeah. This is the only Viking I could come off the top of my head. Matt Burke. I think he was there at the time.
God, Patriots fans are just wishing for Bledsoe to come back at this point.
Though I forget who their quarterback is now. What's his name? What's his name? I think the guy they have now, he's their future quarterback. Like, he's the guy.
I don't even know who their coach is anymore.
Oh, that's oh crap. Oh, what the fuck's his name? I can see him. I know
Vrabel.
Vrabel. Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, Vrabel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, I mean, he's a Patriots quarterback through and through, or a Patriots coach. Like, he just fits that scheme. Yeah, who the fuck is their goddamn quarterback now? Drake May. That's it, Drake May. Like, he looks promising. Like, he'll probably be the guy to get you back to the playoffs. I think he'll be the guy. He'll be the guy to make you care again.
I didn't care much before.
I'm calling it, but I'm calling it now. You'll be interested if they hit the playoffs.
Not enough cars.
Anyways, enough of sports. We gotta get back to Shelley Duvall's Bird's Life. I almost said Shelley Duvall's Math. I wish that was a thing. But yeah, Shelley Duvall's Bird Life. Yeah. This came out on the PC and the 3DO in the early 90s. And I don't really know what this is trying to be necessarily.
It's weird because it's trying to do a lot. The quote
And yet
unquote
does so little.
yeah, the quote unquote game portion or the storybook portion, it's like a weird half-assed cross between like living books and putt putt.
Yeah.
But
So question, you bought a sealed copy of this, right?
not sealed, but it's in fairly
Is it-
mint condition.
What does it come with?
Well,
Does it come with more than just the game in a jewel case?
and I got a nice plastic shell.
Oh yeah, I have one of those. Those are nice.
Oh yeah, this is a very, very nice condition box. Oh wait. It's one of these.
What the hell is that?
It's one of these. Oh wait. Oh, there's what?
There
This
had
is
to be. Is there
I
a
didn't
book?
notice. I didn't
because
know. This is
please,
empty.
please tell me there's a book version of the story in there. For the love of God.
Is it in the bottle? Oh, I can join the Sanctuary Woods Fun Club.
Oh, you should. You should send that in.
I don't know if it still exists.
Well,
But that,
whatever address is on there, look it up. See what it is now.
I'll save that for later. Okay, so this is a first for. So the fun of 3DO is that the boxes were all over the place.
I've never seen that style
Yeah,
of box before.
We've had the nice EA click ones. We've had the weird
yeah.
just open boxes. We've had the shitty boxes that everyone has. We've had
The
weird
clamshells. and-
EA open 2-piece. But this is like
I mean, that looks nice, but it reeks of like educational PC game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some about it that just, if you know, you know.
You know what's funny is I played this a week ago for the research, and then I completely forgot the box did this in the time since.
Yeah, I played this today before the pod because when I talked before about the retro achievements, I learned that there were retro achievements for this game. And I was like, oh, well, I have to do them naturally, right? In fact, I did a couple of, I have a few 3DO full sets. I could talk about the other two. Yeah, Shelley Duvall's, it has 6 achievements. We're 13 points, big deal, right? But they're all fairly simple. There's just complete the story mode in one session. I love the story mode. There's flip the switch to see the bird skeleton. Solve all 6 connect the dots in one session. No save stating. Win 5 rounds of the counting game without repeating answers. Collect all 5 jigsaw puzzles in one session, and then win 5 rounds of the shell game. That was it. And I did all of that. No problem. So yeah, it has like a weird story, but it also has games in it. But it's also like, I can't tell if this is genuinely trying to be educational about birds or not. Like, is it?
The most educational part was like the weird bird anatomy thing.
Yeah, where you can flip the switch and see the skeleton, and like Shelley Duvall's like talking about birds, but it's just like I don't like it says it's educational, but I don't think I like really learned anything out of this.
No, like my brain turned off after like the house burned down. That happens. That fucking happens.
I think that's called a trauma response.
Because the whole time I'm playing this, I'm just like, this is dumb, yada yada yada. Songs, yeah, the house is on fucking fire. What? I was just like, what?
Yeah, so the story in the whole story thing, and why I said I wish there was a storybook in there is because the graphics and the animation reek of like a children's book from this era, like just absolutely. But yeah, the story is that like, oh, Shelley and Dan live with their birds and everything's great. And then yeah, the fucking house burns down for reasons.
A small brush fire comes to the house and decimates it. Like
what the fuck? This ain't the wildfires from like last year. Like what the hell's going on? Yeah,
all I know is
the whole thing burns down, and then Shelley and Dan are just kind of like, they're not there. They're just, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're at the orgy or something. Who knows? And then, but like, they come back and then they see it like decimate and they're trying to find the birds. They can't find the birds. One of them's like coughing, so they can't like respond. And so all the birds get together and just fuck off. They go have an adventure. They fly to Mexico. They fly to the Amazon. They fly to like the San Diego Zoo. They just hang out with other birds and just kind of have a good time. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? This is like
and sing some of the most irritating songs I've ever heard in a long
oh my
time.
God, those songs are so bad. Hold on. There's a movie I'm thinking of trying to compare this to. Yeah, this is like Homeward Bound
But
with
bad.
birds and not nearly as like emotional. Yeah, Homeward Bound's kind of, I haven't seen that movie in forever, but like that was what I was thinking. It's like this is like Homeward Bound but with birds.
Homeward Bound is one of those movies
but
that,
it's
like,
not sad. Like Homeward Bound is sad, if I remember correctly. There's a whole like sadness to the whole thing. Whereas this is just kind of like, yeah, the house burned down. We're just gonna have a party in Mexico with these weird birds, and like then there's like crows who like sexually harass them or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna Me Too those crows.
My favorite part of this game is the opening screen where like you're clicking around on shit before you actually continue the story. You can do the putt like living books, click on stuff for stuff to happen.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the car is just being an obnoxious fuck the entire time, just going beep beep like constantly.
And also,
but if you click on it, it goes, and I'm just like, what?
But also, like, it was like weirdly inconsistent because you'd have some pages or screens where it would have like the text and like Shelley would read it or whatever. And then it would cut to other ones where there was no text at all. And it was like trying to have more animation, but it wasn't like significantly more than what we had before. But then there'd be no text. It'd just be Shelley talking. And then there'd be one or two where it was the same, but then there was text. And it's like, what the hell's going on here, guys? Is there any consistency here? I don't think there was.
I think there might have been drugs involved in this game's development.
I honestly do not think so. Like the vibe I get is that like I've always got the vibe that Shelley Duvall was like a really wholesome person, and and the sense I get from this is that she did it with like the best of intentions, that she was just trying to make like good kids content. It's just that like the people around her just really either didn't share that same vision or it just didn't work out, kind of a thing. But it ends. We gotta get to we gotta spoil the ending of this, where the birds go, we've had enough fun, let's go back. And then they fly back, and then somehow Shelley and Dan in all this time, I mean, it feels like it's been a decent amount of time, they've built a whole new house, like a giant ass like white glass house with like a tree and like a bird ecosystem like in the center of it for the birds to just live in. And they do the whole like, oh, you're back, great. Like they're not freaking out that they've returned or like, oh, we thought you were dead or blah blah blah. None of that. Just like, oh, you're back. Here's the tree that we made for you guys to live in. This giant tree in the middle of this like glass house.
It is
I hope that glass is fireproof.
It is like the most mid-90s like utopian like house design that never would actually exist in reality, but
it's Biodome.
Kind of. I just think of like this stupid house that like Troy McClure lived in The Simpsons in that one episode that was like hanging off the side of the freaking mountain.
It kind of fits, yeah. It fits, yeah. It again, as I'd said, if this was like a kid's book, that you just buy like for your kid or whatever. Well, I don't know why you'd buy a kid's book for anybody but a kid, but like it's like a 20-page kind of thing with like the pictures and the text and everything. Sure. Pass. Great. You killed it. Right. But this is like trying to be more interactive, I guess. Like it's interesting that they chose this to be like an interactive sort of a video gamey experience, but it doesn't do enough to really be that. Like, say what you will about those CDI Bible games, there's way more game to those than this.
Yeah. But they both have connect the dots.
I'll say this isn't as corny as the CDI stuff, though.
Yeah, there was no whoops. Whoops.
I mean, there were sound effects, but like, yeah, no yippee.
Yippee.
Thank God. Thank God. But yeah. So that was the story. And then we have like all the mini games, like you get like jigsaw puzzles, connect the dots, the shell game, which is basically like the 3 cups where you put a ball in the cups and then whatever. And yeah, like the counting game, and there's a couple other games as well.
The 3D drawing, like finger drawing, was like the weirdest thing.
That was really weird.
That was like legitimately a drug trip, because I was like, what the fuck am I looking at right now?
Like it's weirdly like advanced kind of, but it's like why? But they clearly didn't know what they were doing.
They were just like, here, draw, because kids just like to draw. They were like, that'll keep them distracted for an hour.
I mean, that's what this feels like. It's something to distract your kids for a little bit.
This feels like something Alex would have had on her like PC back in the day.
Yeah, like porting this to 3DO is really weird, because like the 3DO didn't really have a defined audience, not really. So that's probably why like it had this and then it had fucking porn on it, because they just were not sure who was the target demographic for the 3DO. Like this on PC, perfect sense. Like this fits in. There's like a million fucking educational type stuff on the PC like this from this era. There's so much of it, it's ridiculous. So it fits perfectly in.
See, the 3DO is kind of like the CDI, only it was 100% sure it was a video game console.
Yeah, but then why was this not on CDI? Because this would fit perfectly on the CDI.
To be honest, like just graphically and like what's going on, I don't think the CDI could handle it.
I feel like the CDI could handle this. If it could handle Zelda, it can handle Shelley Duvall.
I mean, to be fair, the Zelda games took like so much effort to make.
Yeah, but they got them. They squeezed them out, and they could easily squeeze out of this. Because again, like there's like the Sesame Street stuff. There's like a whole Jeopardy game on CDI that's actually like really good, surprisingly.
True.
Like there's stuff on the CDI that could like fit right in with this.
This was probably on 3DO because 3DO was super cheap to make stuff for.
Yes.
And it was probably a simple port. Like porting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like probably the most they had to do was that like narration where they had like some like one of the programmers like 10-year-old son come into a booth and be like, okay, kid, you need to read how the 3DO controller works. And they did with a mic that's probably this quality, if not worse, that I have right now. Being like, okay, the control pad moves the arrow around. Push the A button if you want to see the story, or and it's the C button. The C button is the dedicated tutorial button for everything.
Yes. And the best part is too, like the music is very ear grating. Not my style. I'm sure somebody's into it. But to me, it felt like it was composed by the Birds. Like that's the vibe I got.
Not the band The Birds.
No,
that's a different band.
That would have been a very different game.
Yeah, I was imagining David Crosby making music for this. That'd be fucking awesome, actually. Another legend, RIP. But like, yeah, it's just like I don't quite understand this at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like when I was playing it, I'm like, you know what? This is wholesome. It's inoffensive. It's kind of cute. It does what it does, right? Like it's not the worst thing we've ever played on the show. It's not.
No,
but,
I mean, compared to like the Elmo game, the Sesame Street game, this is
way better than that Sesame Street game. That Sesame Street game made me mad.
Yeah,
I got mad playing that game. I didn't get mad at this. I just got confused.
Yeah, the only like when I'm thinking of like the edutainment games we've played, I mean, Station Invasion, maybe I'd give an edge because that I got a laugh out of. This is
that was edutainment?
Tried to be, I guess.
Okay. I haven't played it since we played it, so
it was definitely it was like an educational version of Twisted. That's all I remember.
I'll buy it. Like it's that thing that like teachers try to give like middle schoolers to like be like edutainment kind of a thing.
Yeah, the mini games in it were a lot more learning based. Yeah.
So that basically means like a putt is really is gonna fucking kill it in the edutainment category.
When we get to putt, that'll be fun because that's a game.
Yeah, it's really punching below its weight class on this system.
The thing about this this is like so many educational games from that era where like the actual game itself doesn't actually take up that much space of the game, so they had to fill it with just as much shit as they could to keep kids busy.
Yeah, like most of those definitely feel like something you just give to your kid because, oh, we have a PC, so we should give them something to do on this PC, on this personal computer. So they just like find some random educational title and just, be like, here, this will work for you, kid. And then the kids who probably played that in 1993 when they were like 5, like, is there an age range on there?
From ages 3 and up.
Because this feels like a 2 to 6. You know what I mean? That's what this feels like.
I think 3 was like the default age for games because 2 I think is a little too young for console.
But like, yeah, 3 to 6. That feels like the age range for this, right? And I imagine if you were in that age range in 1993 and you played this, you probably have nostalgia for it. You probably do. And
this is something that you'd get like in computer lab that would just be on the computer and you just play it because there's nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. Like, I know you're the right age because I think by the time we were getting educational computer games, like in elementary school, every year I would get a copy of Clue Finders. Like the 3rd grade, the 4th grade, the 5th grade. And those, as I mentioned, nostalgia. I have a lot of nostalgia for the fucking Clue Finders to the point where if you booted up the 4th grade one on PC, I would probably I would probably get a little rose colored glasses and be like, oh man, this was so fucking cool back in the day. I could probably knock it out in an hour, but like I'd be like, this is so cool. So I could imagine people having that for this, and that's fine. That's fine.
It's like that era's like Jumpstart or
yes, or the Learning Company when they were actually a learning company and not what they are now.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I think like computer lab, I was in that era where like the educational games were kind of starting to get phased out and like we just fuck around on kid picks because that was just a thing that we do back in the day.
From what I remember, it was we would have Typer Shark, which I really like. Some computers had Oregon Trail, or an Oregon Trail is, it's an institution. But by the time we were playing games in school, it was more like the beginning of Flash games. So like, Newgrounds, Addicting Games, Cool Math Games, all those sites, was starting to become the thing when we were starting to play games in school. So that's more that kind of replaced a lot of those educational kind of games. I mean, I had some of those in elementary school, but by the time like middle school came around, that's when the shift happened.
Yeah. I mean, I will say like, do I regret paying $50 for this at the store?
You paid $50 for that? I thought you paid less than that.
No, it was $50. I mean, it is mint. Like, it is a mint copy.
Sure. What's it go for on price charting?
That's a good question. Last I checked, it was for the version I got, 50s sound about right. Game prices just went through a huge like shift recently. Yeah, it's sitting around CIB 59.60.
Okay, what is it like loose, like just the jewel case or whatever? Like
so
30, 20?
Loose 21.
21 I could live with.
Yeah. It's out of all my 3DO games, it is currently the 8th. Oh no, it actually shift just had a price shift. It is the 9th most valuable.
That's weird.
Yeah, Killing Time just went up. That's fun. Oh, damn, we bought BioFury at a good time because that's apparently expensive now.
Maybe we're the reason it's expensive now.
Maybe.
Guys, don't gouge prices because of us. Don't do it.
Yeah. But reception-wise, I was desperately trying to find anything on this game reception-wise.
These games don't get reviews. These aren't really games that like you would review. You know what I mean?
So Moby Games is like the only place I could find any info for this thing. All I could find is one person did a star review and gave it a 1 out of 5. So they were just educational. What is this shit? Like probably.
Yeah. What's weird is this game has a whole ass IMDb page
It does, but not a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Enough.
And it even references Moby Games in there as well, but like, yeah, nothing as far as like any sort of reviews or whatever. There, I think I saw like a Reddit. Yeah, like
there's a
r/obscure media. Somebody just posted this like 10 years ago, and there's some stuff in here about it. But they're talking more about how the 3DO is weird, or like, oh, I loved Shelley Duvall. She was great. It's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I love when I find like a thing on like a 3DO thing on like a forum, and everyone just shits on the 3DO, and I'm just like,
yeah, it's about right.
I'm just like, cool.
I mean, it's what you expect. So
I know.
But yeah, I couldn't find anything either as far as like a legit review or anything about that.
I looked on YouTube too. I found Let's Plays of it for some reason. No reviews,
of course. The PC version's on the Internet Archive if you want to play it that way.
And I believe the PC version is basically the same game. So
I can't imagine it being any different. For some reason, on My Abandonware, it has one review and it's a 4 out of 5.
That person had a good childhood.
You see that and you just go, bless your heart. Just bless your heart. So that's all I got.
My favorite part about the boxes, on the back, there's like a little in-game screenshot, and right below in parentheses, it says actual screen quality. What does that mean?
Is it real or is it 3DO? It fits for that.
Yeah, other than that, nothing really too crazy. I bought it because it was a boxed 3DO game.
See, I would read through that manual.
There is no manual. That's so the manual.
Strange.
The manual.
Just do a whole unboxing, man.
The manual's right there.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you can't really fit like a paper manual thing. Like, how would you fill out a whole manual for just this game?
It's funny. You open the top flap and it's just empty space, and you open the bottom flap and there's that little voucher. But like other than that, like all the info is like right there.
I mean, for their target demographic, it probably makes sense that it's all kind of contained in that one little section.
I didn't read this. This is fun. Tips to enjoy Shelley Duvall's It's a Bird Life. Tips.
Don't watch The Shining.
Yeah. When the arrow pointer changes from gray to red, hit the action button and something fun will happen.
Action button.
If you want to quit an activity, hit the stop and go back button. Use the next page and previous page buttons to move between story pages and menu choices. Oh, and then there's 3D finger painting tips. Use the arrow pad to move the paintbrush. There are 4 finger painting brushes. To change brushes, use the next page and previous page buttons. Holding the action button down while moving up and down makes the paintbrush bigger or smaller. Holding the action button down while moving left or right will spin the paintbrush. Hint, try pressing the action button, stop and go back, help, next page buttons at the same time for special kaleidoscope effect.
Man, this is a pre-Microsoft Paint world, too.
Yeah. Like we had Mario Paint by this point. I think that was...
We did. We had Color a Dinosaur on the NES.
Color a Dinosaur. Good times.
I have all the retro achievements for that, because of course I do. They're pretty easy.
Before Kid Pix made paint fun.
Yeah. So yeah, there are other 3DO games with retro achievements, as I had mentioned, and I grabbed a couple of them because why not, right? For some reason, there's a set for that Alfred Hitchcock's Presents game. Well, that's not even really a game either. It's Japan only, and I don't know if we'll ever actually get a video out of that because there's genuinely not that much. There's more here than Hitchcock Presents. I'll say that much. Maybe we'll do like a little miscellaneous thing where we talk about some random shit. There's obviously one for Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Got all those, of course. I had to replay the game a bunch, but whatever. The best one was there's a set for Mind Teaser.
Oh, fun. Oh, I was like sitting there. I'm like, what was Mind Teaser again? And then I went, oh, right.
Yeah, that one. And I got them all. I'm just so glad that on RetroArch I can fast forward. I'll just say that much. Yeah, that one was. Imagine like you're eating your lunch in the middle of the day, and you're just like, let me get all the achievements, retro achievements, and Mind Teaser, and I did. So, yeah.
Uh,
there's a couple more on here for 3DO. There's let's see, Alone in the Dark, Crime Patrol 2, Doom, Dragon's Lair, Monster
Oh,
Manor.
Doom, that has to be a chore.
Oh yeah, there's the Fatty Bear games have them. Incredible Machine, Jurassic Park, Mad Dog 2, Mega Race, Myst. That Sailor Moon game has retro achievements. The Yu Hakusho game has retro achievements.
Oh, fun.
Wolfenstein, Tripped. I actually have a couple of the Tripped achievements. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Starblade, Seal of the Pharaoh. Some random ones. And I guess somebody made a homebrew Pac-Man game for 3DO called Wreckman, where it's Pac-Man but your cars.
Hell yeah, why not?
Sure. But yeah, there's quite a few. There's a decent amount of retro achievement 3DO games. So who knows? Maybe as we go through, I'll try to get them all for specific games.
Nice. And I guess now the final part. Must play, okay, stay away. I'm not gonna say stay away because that'd be mean. Because it's we've played worse.
Oh God, yeah. This didn't make me mad or angry or anything like that. It was just kind of like, huh.
I'm gonna say, if you're curious, go for it.
I'll give it an okay. I think it's just because I have some respect for Shelley Duvall, because I know she had some mental health issues in her life,
by the end.
and I don't know if that's even necessarily connected to The Shining. That's kind of a whole controversy thing, but I think she did have some struggles in her life, and it feels like from this, it is something that she was trying to make something like genuine and like something for children. Like it doesn't come off like cynical or anything like that, which for the 90s is really nice. And I don't know, it's cute enough. I feel like if you gave this to like a 3-year-old, they'd probably like it.
I've played much worse edutainment in my day,
yeah,
and this was something I could have seen having at one point and being like, it's a thing.
Yeah, like you could very well see this being in like the PC rack, like that rack of just PC stuff that you have, and every once in a while you pop it in, and you're like, yeah, this is whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to edutainment stuff on 3DO, like I think Putt counts.
Borderline, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's the Fatty Bear games, which also are like edutainment, and we'll cover those in the future. So we'll have some more comparison later on. This will probably be, those games will probably be better than this. At least I hope so. But for us, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can't bring it in me to hate it or say stay away. I just can't.
No, it's not.
I don't have it in me. I feel like I'm punching down.
It's not broken. It's functional. It's just it's an educational game.
It's better than that Alfred Hitchcock game I was talking about.
I can't like say it's a must play, but it is definitely perfectly fine.
Don't go out of your way to play this unless you're a freak like us and anything we said genuinely interested you.
Yeah, unless you walk into a game store and see it on the shelf and just go, that's a 3DO game.
If you're a sicko, sure. If you're a sicko, go play it.
It wasn't even the fact of what it was. It was, I saw that little logo in the corner and just went, okay.
Yeah.
just it wasn't even a happy like, ooh, 3DO. It was just a okay.
You're like, I'm the 3DO guy. I guess I have to keep. I have to put up a face.
The reaction from the people at the game store was still my favorite thing. I was like, "Can I see that?" And they were like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I looked at it, I'm like, "I'll take it." And they were just like, "That thing's been sitting here for months." And I was like, "Yeah." It was waiting for a 3DO weirdo like me to come grab it.
They're like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "This is for content." They're like, I figured.
I'm pretty sure my response was, "I have a podcast." And they just went, "Oh, okay." And they didn't they didn't
it so begrudgingly.
They didn't even ask what it was. They just went, "Oh," and then just like checked me out. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
these days everybody has a fucking podcast, so they're probably just
I
like,
know.
yeah, whatever. And I imagine a lot of retro stores have people going in them buying games for like content for a podcast or a YouTube video or something. Wouldn't even be shocked. So
Yeah. Actually, I'm pretty sure I said I have a 3DO podcast. And then they just went, and didn't elaborate any farther. And I was just like,
they just go, why? If
it was one
not
of the,
me, who? If not me, who?
it was literally like a kind of confused, like, okay. I was
I'm
just
kind
like,
of confused. That's great.
yeah. Like not like judging, just kind of they were like legitimately like, oh, I'm
You
not
sure
gonna ask
about
any
that?
farther. I'm not gonna ask
See-
any more.
Yeah, see, this is why I shouldn't run a retro game store, because I would ask these questions or communicate with the customers about this stuff. And I don't know if that'd be a good or a bad thing.
See, I usually like they're chatty. I got a vibe from I've never seen these two, and they were very much like they would chat with themselves behind the counter, but then the second a customer came in, they were like waiting for them to leave. Waiting for them to leave.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, so
This is a long episode.
Yeah, we actually got like a good amount out of the game, which I was surprised. But I mean, admittedly, it is somewhat fascinating.
Yeah.
So next week we're actually going back to Army Men.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be actually covering probably the most iconic Army Men game.
That I'm not sure I can agree with you on.
I'm not saying iconic in the sense that it's the one, like the best one, but it's like the one that like it sold the best from what I've read. That is Army Men 3D, which was like the first real console one. It's technically a remake of the first game, but remake is in heavy quotation marks because it's basically an original game. I have not played this game since I think the last time I booted this up was like 2015. So yeah, it's gonna be curious.
I've played a little bit of it.
Yeah, from what I remember, it's no Army Men Air Attack, but this is one that people generally like. So I'm gonna see. We'll see next week.
That we will.
But
I'm refraining from saying anything.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Take your guess. Am I gonna like it or hate it?
Yeah, we'll see. We're following it from RTS, which is considered good, so expectations can't be too high.
Exactly.
But yeah. So once again, guys, thank you for joining us on the 3DO Experience. The 3DO Experience can be found on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site where you can find a whole bunch of different shows, videos, blogs. We're not really doing anything blog related at the moment. It's kind of a free-for-all thing over right now, but I'm sure we'll have another themed blog challenge at some point.
I have some ideas for my own blog, so stay tuned.
Nice. But yeah, you can check out all the awesome shows there, and yeah, it's a great place to check out. But my allergies are starting to get to me, so I'm gonna say once again, guys, thanks for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Bye.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with?